In a world threatened by the forces of darkness, the hero, known as Blade, engages in a climactic battle against a demon lord. The demon lord summons a colossal meteor hurtling toward the planet. Blade then notices a small rock on the ground. He threw the small rock with such force, it somehow obliterated the meteor. Blade and the demon lord both unleashed their strongest attack upon each other. With the last remnants of their strength, they went on to the classic, let's stab each other battle strategy, which ended both of their lives. The next chapter begins at the prestigious Rosewood Academy where we meet Blade, a new transfer student. He exchanged greetings with everyone in the school. He then introduces himself to a group of students who find his behavior uniquely autistic. Their conversations are interrupted by the arrival of a student known for her tough nature and great skill, Arnest. One of the students informs Blade that she holds a high position in the school and is referred to as the Empress. Blade, brimming with confidence, approaches her and introduces himself without giving a single care about his life and status. The other students quickly explain Blade's recent entry to the school, but the Empress remains skeptical as the esteemed Rosewood Academy only accepts students who aspire to become heroes and protect the world. Blade, however, dismisses the goal of becoming a hero because his sole purpose is to make friends and live an ordinary life. This triggers the Empress, causing her to confront Blade, ready to kill him. But Blade swiftly changes the subject, stating his need to locate the headmaster's office. When they arrive at the headmaster's office, they find King Gilgamesh, a renowned warrior, seated in. She quickly tries to restrain Blade to bow and respect the headmaster. He commends her for her excellent record, then he instructs her to excuse herself as he needs to speak privately with Blade. She gave Blade the bombastic side-eye and leaves. Gilgamesh then candidly confesses that he wants Blade to regain his powers as a hero. Blade, however, have his own plan, stating that he wants to lead an ordinary life, rather than embarking on the path of a hero. After their meeting, Blade makes his way to the advanced class and shocked Arnest. She then accuses Blade of bribing someone to gain backdoor access. After some heated arguments, she unleashed a powerful attack on Blade, however he effortlessly dodges her strike. Arnest, surprised with Blade's dodge, she seizes the opportunity to assert her authority, using her influence to convince the instructor to test Blade's abilities even though it deviates from the original lesson plan, as other students watch with anticipation. Arnest explains the test to Blade, realizing the significance of the challenge, and he notices that the armor is constructed from enchanted metal. Arnest reveals that every student in the advanced class possesses the ability to slice through it effortlessly. Blade's task is to prove himself to everyone by successfully slicing through the enchanted armor, and if Blade fails to accomplish it, Arnest insists he must admit his illicit entry and leave the academy. Blade then releases his aura blade and astonishes his classmates as they witness his fighting spirit taking the form of a majestic dragon. A powerful tornado ensues as Blade unleashes the might of the Dragon Eater technique, and it obliterates the enchanted armor and leaves a sizable chunk missing from the wall. The sheer force of the winds causes Arnest's clothes to tear and sends the rest of the students sprawling. The practice sword in Blade's hand crumbles. Arnest then requests Blade to reveal his identity. Blade attempts to assure them that he is nothing more than an exceedingly average ordinary person. It's lunchtime. Arnest eats alone at her designated spot, but Blade decides to join her. As Blade begins to eat like someone who had never eaten before, Arnest grows annoyed, reminding him that it's just curry. Then she apologizes for accusing him of bribery, but Blade has no recollection of the incident. He then tells her that they have become friends. Arnest blushes like a tomato and admits that she doesn't mind being his friend. Later that night, Arnest returns to her room and ponders Blade's words. She eventually rolls on her bed, super happy that she has made her first friend, but suddenly her sword begins to tremble, evoking memories of her past. When she was younger, she felt an inexplicable attraction towards the sword, and as she approached it, the sword commanded her to surrender herself. Arnest succumbed to those words and picked up the sword, causing her hair to transform from black to red. Since then, the sword has inundated her mind with destructive notions of slashing and burning things. The sword continues to repeat these words, but Arnest sternly commands it to be silent. As the next head of her family, she refuses to succumb to the demonic sword's influence. Arnest manages to calm the sword down and resolves to grow stronger. Blade then decides to infiltrate the Academy's data system to gather information about Arnest. He discovers that she possesses a demon sword named Asmodeus. He summons her to speak privately and informs her that he knows the secret of her sword, that her sword grants her more power since the sword possesses free will. but it does not acknowledge her as its master. Blade is confused how this came to be, and she recounts finding the sword at the age of 6. Since then the sword has constantly tried to take control of her body and she has been fighting against its influence. Blade suggests that the only way to stop it is for the sword to recognize her as its owner. But Arnest is afraid of failure, as it would result in the demon overtaking her body and causing harm to countless innocent lives. Blade then reassures her, asserting that he can handle the situation, even that he is willing to destroy the sword if necessary. Arnest decides to trust him and initiates the ritual. Blade watches from the sidelines as flames envelop her body upon completing the chant. The demon sword intensifies the flames to test her. Arnest confronts the demon and demands its submission. However, the demon refuses to surrender, plunging them into battle. As one of the demons lunges at Blade, he obliterates it with a single punch. After observing the scene, Arnest realizes that Blade will be able to take care of everything if she fails. She then gives her all and engages in a fierce confrontation with the demon. With Blade's support, she emerges victorious. Blade catches Arnest as she descends from the sky, congratulating her on her triumph. From that moment on, Arnest undergoes a transformation in her attitude and starts greeting students with a smile, abandoning her previous scary tough act.